Good afternoon, everybody. How is everybody doing? This is the Perchy here from the Perchy TV. Welcome to the show. It's been a bit of a quiet morning at Tottenham. Not. I'd like to say welcome, Mia. Welcome, Ellie. Welcome, Koff. Guys, how are you? All three of you doing?
Doing all right.
Nice
Good,
to
good.
see you, Percy.
It's always a pleasure. You're always welcome on here. We got in here. Big up Jose. Big up the other Jose. Welcome, mate. Hope you are. Big up Danny Glover. Always here. Big up Mike. Big up Proud to be Geordie. We're flying through. And big up Leon Felix Cooper. Big up John Fitzpatrick, mate. Big up Ian. Who else we got? We got Stephen Cartwright. Welcome. West Sydney Flamingo, welcome. Mustafa, guys, loads of you in here today. Big up to you all. Dragon these nuts with the best name on YouTube. I will stand by it. Ryan Isaacs, always a real one. Hope you're mate. Wifey's in the building. Big up wifey. Hope you're doing lovely. I love you, babe. Love you. Big up Dan E. Go. Big up the sheriff. Big up the sheriff. Who else we got? Big up Juicy over on Twitch, the sole leader at the Twitch army over there, literally the only one on the Twitch army. Guys, let's delve into it quickly. Let's talk about the news that came out this morning from a mate of mine, Paul O'Keefe, who has a lot. His tweets have a lot of weight. Sometimes I think he wants to just tweet stuff to just see what happens. And his tweet comes out and the whole of Twitter exploded that Tottenham are looking to pull out of the David Raya deal. And it is caused absolute massive controversy because you've got some people going, get it done, he's our number one target, which is the camp I'm in. Yeah. And you've got some people going, £40 million for a player with 1 year left on his contract at the age of 27. Is that too much? Guys, what are your thoughts on this? Because for me, as I said, I stand by the fact of I want David Raya at Tottenham. I said he's the perfect fit for us, and he was our number one choice. Koff, speak away, my friend.
It's a total disaster. It is a total disaster. David Raya is our best chance of rebuilding or building this back line. He is essential to the way Ange Postecoglou wants to play football in the next season. And the fact that we've done this again, and you know when I knew we weren't going to sign David Raya? When suddenly, after 2 weeks of everyone saying that Maddison is our main target, Raya is our main target, suddenly our main target is James Maddison. Out of nowhere, that he's our main priority.
I don't know where that's exactly. How can he be main target? Agreed.
Our main priority should be our defence because we conceded 63 goals last year.
Yeah, literally.
David Raya, he is your goalkeeper for 6 years minimum. He's 27. 27 is not old for a keeper. People might think it's, it's a bit much money. But this is a goalkeeper starting to come into his prime. He's one of the best in the Premier League. He's homegrown as well. He's homegrown, which is another thing. Although he's Spanish, he's homegrown.
He came through Blackburn's academy.
He is homegrown, so he does get that English tax despite the fact he's Spanish. Yeah. This is a keeper we need. He knows the Premier League because he's played for Brentford last year and quality last year for Brentford. This is a disaster. It's typical Tottenham. Low balling, thinking we can bully teams like Brentford. It's typical Tottenham. We should be saying this is our number one target.
Yeah.
We should not be skipping up as our number one target. We should get him in.
Someone's mic's a bit crackly. Sorry.
I think Mia needs to unplug her mic.
Oh yeah. And
this is a disaster.
I agree with Mia. I'd like to bring you in on this one quickly as well, because for me, I sit there and I think a player that's on our target is coming in, and then what do is we then just don't get it over the line. And I had a weird feeling this was going to happen. I didn't say anything, but I just, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, We haven't heard much of this in the last few days. Something's in the background. And I think it was I think it was Full Ball that went, how reliable is Paul O'Keefe? From what I know, I speak to him very regularly. I know him through Twitter. I speak to him and stuff. He's not a journalist. He's he's like a player liaison kind of guy. He works for the players and stuff. So he doesn't work directly for Tottenham at all. He actually works for a lot of more non-league sort of players. I know he has a few players on his books from at my local club back in the UK. Which we this
is it my mic that's not working? Does my mic sound okay?
I think static is coming from your mic, I think.
Oh, I was on mute up until now, so that's why I can't work out if it's mine or not.
It seems okay now.
Actually, it's sorting itself out. It's sorting itself out.
Mia, jump in there quickly as well, Ellie as well. Obviously, I'd like to get your thoughts on this because for me, he was our number one target, and we're going to pull out of it because we're not going to reach the valuation. For me, that just seems idiotic. Yes, I understand. 40 million quid is a lot of money, blah, 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 for a player 1 year left on his contract, yada, yada, yada. But for me, if he was our number one target, surely it was more valuable for us to get it over the line early and move on to other targets.
Yeah, do you know what I think happened? It's a bit like what's happened with Declan Rice. Because they know we want him, they know that they can easily just say, we ain't going to back down on our price because we know that you want him. So it's like a bit like they know that. So Tottenham are like, actually, we don't want to pay that price. So it's like that really like, well, they've kind of got you over a barrel. But we did say we were going to walk away from Romero, from Porro. Like we've kind of, maybe this is our way of saying to them, well, we can walk away. But the problem is other people will come in for Raya. That's the issue, isn't it?
Exactly.
It's not, that's the problem. If it was a case of only we wanted him, it would be a different scenario. But it's not. Other people do want him. So that's our problem. We haven't really got that bargaining tool where we're the only ones that want him. So I feel like we're playing a dangerous, stupid game, if I'm honest. I can see it from both sides.
Yeah, no, absolutely bang on. The thing is at the moment, maybe there's no massively strong links with other players, other clubs, for Raya. But we know how this cycle works. And Ellie, I'd like to get your take on this one quickly. The goalkeeper merry-go-round is going to start happening. So what you'll start seeing is the likes of Andre Onana maybe going to Chelsea. Just again, I put this in the WhatsApp. So hypothetically, Onana goes to Chelsea. Inter Milan need a goalkeeper. There's a goalkeeper right there that's good enough to go in there, and they'll pay 40 million quid for. Ironically, the new goalkeeper that we're linked with is also linked with Inter Milan, but we'll get onto that very shortly. But what are your thoughts on this? Because for me, I just think, yes, maybe it's a lot of money for the concept of it all, but for me, getting a first target that you need in over the line and done, I think has more weight than the value of the player.
Yeah, I agree, Percy. It's just I get fed up every time we go for a player. These scenarios keeps on happening. It's not just a one-off, is it? It's like nearly every deal, and it's getting on Spurs fans' tits really, because we're just fed up with it. Because when you go for a target and you make him your number one target, and it's not a massive amount of money, 40 million. For a goalie of that stature, with that pedigree, and he's been fantastic, and he's just the type of player that can fit into Postecoglou's jigsaw. I agree with Ben in that respect. But just get the deal done.
But this is the point for me, and what you've just said is absolutely bang on there, Ellie. And this is the part for me. We knew the price 2 weeks ago, so. If for example we'd waited 2 weeks, which we could have identified. Look, for me, I've got no problem here, and this is the bit that I want people to understand in the chat. If 2-3 weeks ago they went, we're not budging at £40 million, we go, do you know what? We're not gonna bother then. We're done. We've got 2 or 3 other targets on there. I feel like now I have no problem if we did that, but then I feel like we've got no plan B. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I feel like now we're now linked with the Udinese goalkeeper who was on loan at Empoli last season, who's been linked with a few other clubs, which is what I've read. But first, I'll be honest, no disrespect. First, I heard of the kid, So I can't make any sort of adjustments on if he's going to be great or bad. I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't have a clue. And again, I've got no problems with being linked with players like that, as long as we've identified 3 or 4 targets, but we never heard about these targets before, and that's where I get worried about. What are your thoughts on that?
I think sometimes Spurs try and keep it under the radar so they get first dibs on a player, maybe, because if you put all your cards out there for everybody to see, then people can, they can sniff you out and then they can snatch it from underneath your feet, which has happened many times in the past, Percy. You must agree. Yeah,
and I think that's the bit that I think is frustrated fans now, because we've seen this time after time. It's not. This isn't the exception. This is the rule with Tottenham. We're so used to these things happening. Players, there's always something that scuppers up a deal. I go back to the likes of Paulo Dybala, that chaotic transfer.
Grealish, Skriniar.
There's so many examples of this, which is where
Fernandes.
We could sit there. We could spend all hour on this stream talking about it, and that for me is the big problem, and that's where I sort of sit back and I think about it. I go, we're so used to this now. That's why I think people are frustrated. And for example, if we go, oh, do you know, we're not going to get David Raya because we've just agreed terms with this player and a bid's been accepted, and then he's going to have a medical by the end of the week. You go, do you know what? Fair enough. Something in the background's happening. We don't know. Something in the background might be happening. We're only taking what's on face value. And the thing is by the way, that the David Raya thing could still happen. By the way, this could all be a technique to go, do you know what? That will maybe frighten them and go. But the issue is he's a good goalkeeper that other clubs will want and will probably pay that asking price. Cough, mate. Where do you think we're going to go with this now, mate?
I've got no idea. We might do what Peugeot did when they were making umbrellas. They changed the bicycles or something silly like that. I've got absolutely no clue, because what is the point of having a number one target?
Agreed.
If you're not going to go for them?
I just want to pick up this one. Yeah, I just want to pick up this from Chap Hamill. Big up, mate. I hope you're well, mate. Why would he come to Spurs apart from money? Brentford is a better, well-run. Listen, we're not. This isn't delusional. Tottenham are a bigger football club than Brentford. End of argument. End of full stop. Brentford are not a big club compared to Tottenham.
Just because Brentford did well last year doesn't mean Brentford. Yeah. How many teams have come up from the Championship, finished quite highly, and then gone down the next year?
But the biggest part of this is Brentford have already signed the replacement. This is a player that doesn't want to sign a new contract. Brentford knew that 3 months ago when it signed the goalkeeper from Freiburg, Flecken, Dutch goalkeeper, and he's already signed and he's already at the club.
And he will be the number one keeper next year because they've already bought him.
Now they've got 3 goalkeepers. They've got the old Lazio goalkeeper, Strakosha. They've got the new lad in, and now they've got David Raya. So they're going to have to get rid of one of them. And David Raya, with 1 year left on his contract, this for me is a battle of wits, of the sense of
how to be a Geordie summed it up perfectly. Everyone knows Tottenham need a goalkeeper. Everyone knows that Hugo Lloris is ready to leave. Everyone knows this. After the moment we lost 6-1 to Newcastle and Hugo Lloris never played a game again, you all knew that Tottenham needed a goalkeeper. So as soon as Tottenham come for your goalkeeper, everyone ups the price. It's what everyone does. It's fair play. If you're desperate for something, you will pay more for it, except for Tottenham, where we seem to pay less for it. I don't see any other goalkeepers, really.
But that's what I'm saying.
Jordan Pickford play our system that we want to play.
We're now going to be linked with other goalkeepers. That's inevitable now. What's going to happen in the next few days. For me now, the biggest part of it is now we have to get one over the line in the next week. For me, before the end of next week, we have to sign a goalkeeper. Yeah. And the thing is that for me is the only real reason why we pull out of a David Raya deal, is that we've got somebody, we basically on the sideline gone, we've got a better deal on the back burner, and we've kept it quiet and got and listen, it could be this Udinese goalkeeper. Listen, haven't seen nothing play, can't judge it. But the only reason I feel like we pulled out of David Raya, and this is me being positive, by the way, positive purge. Views disappear because everyone wants to see. I start losing half-point views because everyone wants to see me go absolutely apoplectic. But this is my positive spin. Is it? Listen, this is based on absolutely nothing but just a theory. Is that we've pulled out David Raya because on the back burner we've got someone that's ready to join, and in the next week or so we're going to sign him. Based on absolutely nothing, there's no thing on that, and you would hope that as a football club we operate like that. That's how we're doing it. Listen, David Raya, we feel is overpriced. So we've gone in and signed a £20 million goalkeeper from Udinese, this lad that we linked with, and that he was the number 2 option. I don't mind us doing that, but I don't want us in by July and we've still not signed a goalkeeper. For me, that's
pre-season.
a big problem.
Before
pre-season, agreed.
So yeah.
If you look at what Paul O'Keefe said following what he wrote about the Raya thing, he said that basically Tottenham will be failing in due process if they didn't line up other ducks too. This is the game. And he then said it's Tottenham. They threaten to walk a lot, Porro off, Romero off, etc. They have to line up other things though. So that's obviously what the follow-ups were, like you just said, of what he
and that for me, that's how we should operate. That's the right thing to do. But the problem what we've got here is I think there might be still a chance that it still happens. By the way, this whole thing might still happen because listen, you got to think about it. Brentford want to sell. This is like a game of chicken. Everyone knows the game chicken and stuff. Where like it's who's going to give him first. And who's going to be the one that gives him first? Because Brentford realistically can't not sell him. Brentford can't not sell him. They can't lose money. So I understand where people go about, 40 million's a lot. But this is a game of I wanted him signed immediately. So he's in before pre-season. And as Rooty Toot said, 10 days till pre-season. I expect the new goalkeeper to be walking in 10 days. And if he doesn't, that's when the rant will happen. And you'll get that video, trust me. Because
you've got to have you've got to build your team around your goalkeeper, and as Stuart Austin has just said, he goes straight into the team. No questions asked. Number 1 shirt, shining up. He's number 1. Then that would be a really, really positive motion. You've started on the right foot, and it's a no-brainer for £40 million. I know you're going to say, why pay for 40? He's homegrown. He's quality. He's at a good age. That 40 million is nothing. How many keepers have Chelsea bought that barely play for 50, 60 million?
Yeah. Sorry, Ellie, apologies. As Simon just said, I'm fed up of setting up option 2, 3, and 4. And listen, do you know what? I am as well. But I'm always been that sort of person where I haven't got a problem. If option 2 is we go, do you know what? In the back burner, we've got it done. If this is going to go too long, we can't be asked to wait. I wouldn't mind us going for option 2 if it means that we're going to guarantee that player comes in 10 days' time. Does people get when I say it like that?
Yeah.
Option 2 is not. If, for example, we're going to start from scratch on option 2 now. For me, then I'm going, what on God's name are you lot doing at Tottenham?
The problem with our option 2s though, and option 3s is they are significantly of less quality.
Of course.
I know this is a wrong analogy, but as someone that buys coffee for a living, if I can't get coffee number 1, I want coffee number 2 on my list to be of the same quality, of a similar price. And if it isn't, I don't buy it because I want quality. I don't want just to have.
But, okay, how about if I kind of spin this on? This is just a kind of spin on it. What if Postecoglou has identified maybe 3 goalkeepers that he feels are suitable? To me, that's what's important. If he can't get the first one, because sometimes that does happen, if he feels like they've got a good enough quality, I feel like as long as it's Postecoglou that's had a say in these goalkeepers, then I'm fine with it, because I feel like he is identifying quality that he feels a quality for him. Does that make sense? Because what we judge quality and what he might judge as quality is different. We're not managers. We're just football fans, right? So what do we truly know? I know we know what we know. I'm not trying to disprove and prove anybody's point or anybody's point of view, because it's all just opinions. But he ultimately is the manager who knows what he wants, and he's got the inside knowledge of footballers, you know.
I hope so. But this is Tottenham we're talking about. The Leopards don't change their spots. They don't change their spots, and it happens time after time that we don't get our number one target, and number two target is far worse. And then we end up getting.
I think the number two target, from what was being mentioned earlier, we don't actually know enough about him before we start going. He's not good enough. We don't know enough about him. And listen, I have no problems with us getting unknown players in. I've always said this. I've got no problem
as long as they are quality.
As long as we've identified it right. And listen, and I do agree to a certain extent what Mia's saying is that if the first three options that we've got in there are of significant quality, and then we've identified them at the right time, I'm not massively against it. But my problem is, and what I was stating earlier, if we've got a clear strategy and we've gone, do you know what? And then by the end of next week, he's in and we've signed this new other goalkeeper, I go, do you know what? I've got no problems with it. For me, my concern is that we're going to be at square one again, and we've got 10 days left till pre-season starts, and we've not got a number one. That worries me. I just wanted to sort that, guys. Go and subscribe to these three amazing people. Mr. Cousins, you're in charge now. I'm giving you top spanner work. Your top spanner work. You've got to go and put every one of these beautiful people in the chat.
I've taught you well, Sheriff. I've taught you well.
As we've got the lead moderator in here, so everyone go and subscribe to these amazing people. Go and subscribe to me as well. That doesn't mean don't subscribe to me. We are on the path of, I believe, 130 subscribers from the massive 1,000. So we are so close. Please subscribe. It would mean the world, genuinely, if you can. And let's get the likes up. Can we get over 50 likes? We're about 11 away. Come on,
there's 100 of you in here, guys. And
if every one of you liked it, would be over 100 likes, and it would mean the world, genuinely, because it pushes my stuff out, and it does mean the world. We have got some questions, though. So we have got questions. The first one is from Minerals here. It's more the lacking part. I mean, because he wants to land Minerals, and he's mudding Darren Rise, mudding Levy and stuff, all that stuff. But the other part was I wanted to talk about a little bit different. Gary O'Neill being sacked by Bournemouth is another one that sort of happened yesterday, that it's sort of come out, and it was absolutely random, and they've signed the ex Athletic Bilbao right back as their manager. He was Vallecano manager before. What are people's thoughts on that? Because initially I went, it's a bit harsh on Gary O'Neill. No one expected Bournemouth to stay up. You would have thought they'd have given him the opportunity, but then they've gone in and got in a new manager straight away. So maybe that's what they wanted all along. I don't know. So what have you got? Ellie, what are your thoughts on that one about Gary O'Neill being sacked?
I find it really odd, really, because he was doing a pretty decent job, and he kept them up, and they were playing nice football. They came down to White Hart Lane and made us look foolish as well, 3-2. So I just find it really strange. Why would you do that for a rookie that's really, maybe they've researched him, but I don't know a lot about him, so I can't really comment on him. But
he did really well at Raya Vallecano. I mean, being in Spain, I watched a lot of La Liga, obviously, so he did a really good job at Vallecano. So unless there was just an opportunity out of nowhere, that's how they got him. But yeah, I do feel it's a bit harsh.
They did it to Eddie Howe as well, which was a bit odd as well. But, you know, football's a cutthroat business, isn't it? You expect these things to happen, Perchie. So I'm surprised in one way, but I'm not surprised in another. Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. And Mia, what are your thoughts? Do you think that was a bit of a weird one that they sacked Gary O'Neill, or does it kind of make sense?
Yeah, it just seemed really out of the blue, didn't it? Like, I don't think anybody really expected that at all. And the timing of it, they've done it quite a bit after the season's finished. It seems just a bit odd. Now, if I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on, as Jacob likes to do, I would say that there was accusations coming out, and then a manager gets sacked. I'm not sure if the two are linked. Obviously, this is just me absolutely speculating, but it just seems a little bit odd. I will just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I just think at the moment, I think it just was a bit of a weird one at the moment. But listen, they might go and surprise us all, and we go and see what is happening here. There was another one. Big up, David, mate. Hope you're well. Does anyone know if our final offer was, or did we stick at 20? I don't think anyone will know that, but I think we were in the region. We've been priced at 25, what we think for him, and they want 40. I just think it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, yeah, it is a strange one.
It's just another derisory offer from Tottenham. It's another derisory offer.
Yeah,
so it's the second in the like we've already. How long's the transfer window been open? 1 week.
Yeah,
just a bit, and we've already made 2 derisory offers allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly, one to Leicester for Maddison and Barnes, and now one for
that Barnes and Leicester, that Barnes and Madison one, Fabrizio said that wasn't true. That didn't.
Yeah,
that wasn't true. So that's what I'm saying. You've got to be very careful about what you believe in it.
Yeah, Tottenham have done it so many times. Although he might not say it's real, it's so Tottenham to do that. I still think it's real.
For me, what I try and do is I try and pick up both sides of it. So I saw that, and do you know what I think it was? And this is my theory. I break down stuff. I don't believe everything I read. I try and work out what it probably was. Is Spurs probably valued both players at 50 million. We didn't put a bid in, but we valued the players at a combination of around 50 to 60 million. That's probably that would have made more sense. Whereas Leicester want a lot more money.
They deserve a lot more money because they're quality players.
Agreed.
They're quality footballers. Can go straight into our team, and again, they're homegrown, which is it's another tax. It's another tax on the top of it.
Agreed.
Do you guys feel that it might be like the media? They're not really Spurs friendly, are they? And they do stir up a lot of shit.
I think a load. When you say not Spurs friendly, in what sense?
Like there's so many stories that come out about us that are lies.
Like what? What lies? I haven't heard any lies that have come out.
Like the Barnes and Madison one. That is a complete lie.
That's not necessarily that it's a lie. What I'm saying is that might be a misinterpretation of the truth. It's a slight difference. But if there's whenever stories come out, there's always smoke. There's always a fire with the smoke that's being said. It doesn't necessarily mean it may have been that their source got the wording slightly wrong. Spurs value to Spurs bid completely changes the whole conversation. Is my point. So as I said, with the likes of transfer, taken with a pinch of salt with the media.
I mean, the only people that really know the figure are the people that work in the Leicester board and the Tottenham board.
Of course,
anyone else.
Of course,
it's in the words of Eddard Stark. Anything before the word "but" is horseshit. That's what this is. No one truly knows. But the problem is we have been doing this so many times that it's crazy. Manchester City did it with us. It happens.
Yeah,
it happens that people put in low offers. Arsenal's done it with West Ham. They put in a really low offer and it's been rebutted. It happens all the time. But it just always seems to happen to Tottenham, doesn't it?
It happens all the time, and it's constant. Yeah, go and subscribe to Ben as well. Go and make sure you do so. That will be lovely if you can. Agreed. And I just think this is where we are at the moment. I think we just got to accept it. This is what we are. But the problem is, I'm annoyed about Raya because I actually really wanted him at Spurs. I looked at his profile, the sort of player I thought he just fit perfectly. The problem is now we've got to try and find someone that doesn't equally fit perfectly in 10 days.
Yeah, absolutely. It's why I hate the word truth, because the word truth is not black and white. It's the Sith. It's the Sith. The Sith, like, for example, Star Wars, their truth was this. Someone else's truth is that.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
We want facts.
But there's a difference between someone's truth, my truth, and the truth. That's the issue, isn't it? Because there is a difference. Again, the truth is the truth.
We want facts. This is what happened, and black and white statement. No twisting. But who knows? But David Raya should be a Tottenham player. That's the only thing. He should be a Tottenham player. They want to sell him. We want to buy him. The player wants to come to him. Agreed. So the fact that all 3 of those ducks are lying and it's still not happening, it's
mad. You know what? I always use the sentence of it's a no-brainer signing. Only Tottenham can be the team that doesn't get a no-brainer done right. And I just want to address this from Stuart. Question is, why are fans so quick to automatically attack the club on the basis of false rumours rather than supporting the government calling out the nonsense? Stuart, this is the part of it though, because the thing is, I think where a lot of fans now are so aggravated with what's going on at this football club, and Ben, you can probably adjourn to what I'm trying to say here is that we've seen this happen time and time again. This isn't a one-off, and as I said, I mentioned earlier on in the stream, this isn't the exception. What's going on right now? This is the rule.
With every club. This is not a Tottenham thing.
The Basuma deal last season, that was the exception where it happened out of nowhere, and we went, "Oh my God, we've signed Yves Basuma."
Really good signing, and we gave them credit.
Really good business.
A lot of even the most arduous of Levy Out fans, in myself and Daigle, have said 25 million for Kulusevski, good deal,
good business. But even with Kulusevski dragged on,
this is our number. I love the Kulusevski deal; it's a good deal. But the PR around it, oh, this new signing. When you've got him in the door, you've got him in the door.
I was going to bring that up.
Raya is our number one target. That is what we need because our defense is shocking. That is our number one target. Build from the back. And we haven't done it again. We've been calling out for a new goalkeeper this entire year. We've been calling out for new defenders for about 5 years. Get this done. This is what we need. The problem with Tottenham isn't that we score goals. We score one of the highest in the Premier League.
We are.
The problem is we concede goals like a sieve. We just let him go. That is what we are.
The conceding goal in this club is horrendous.
But we don't want the PR to say, "Oh, look how great it is." We wanted Kulusevski, great, brilliant. But we need to fix the actual issue with the football team, which is the defense and the goalkeeper.
I wasn't excited when the Kulusevski stuff came out. I think you lot will probably notice in the group chats. I was like, okay, great.
Why should we?
Last season, whoopie-doo, he's a great player, but I want to see actual improvement. And I just want to pick this up by Proud for Geordie. Journalists make 100% things up for clicks.
They've got to make money.
It's not necessarily true. They've got to make it so they click. Just like we all do as YouTubers, we try and make our stuff catchy to click on it so you watch it. But what happens is a lot of this stuff, you've got to bear in mind, what the journalists do is they get a lot of information from not just clubs, they get it from agents, they get it from buying clubs and selling clubs. So, like, for example, this David Raya thing about this has come from Paul, so it's not come from a journalist specifically, but a lot of journalists have jumped on it because of it. But my point being is stuff can be done for a reason. Has Spurs pulling out been intentionally spread by the club? So that it basically gets Brentford's backup on David Raya. This stuff happens all the time, and this is some of the parts of the cogs when it comes to the way that is operated. So Barnes agree. This club is a shambles. Yeah, man, I'm so used to it. I'm used to it now. Sky have been talking up Kane to leave Spurs for years, but Phil, the reason why they're doing that is because Kane's won nothing at Tottenham, and Kane. And that's the reason. If Kane was winning leagues and Champions Leagues at Tottenham, that doesn't have that conversation. No one's talking about Erling Haaland leaving Manchester City. No, because he's just won the treble with them. That's the difference. Kane is going to be into his 30s without winning a trophy. That's why the likes of Sky Sports talk about it, because they go,
it's easy.
Kane wants to win it. Of course. He's England captain. He's going to get talked about all the time. Exactly. What else have we got in here? We've got any more? Can I start any more questions?
He's very successful in everything else he does.
Who?
Kane. He's very successful.
He hasn't won.
He hasn't won a trophy.
He hasn't won one. He hasn't won trophies.
He's successful in every area apart from winning trophies. But remember, football is a team game.
Yeah, that's the most vital thing, though, to win those big trophies.
Football is a team game.
It doesn't matter. The fact is that he's never done that.
If you put Kane into City, he would have won many trophies. Just put it that way.
Of course, he would have done. But the conversation that what Mia has all the time and what I have at this moment is that look at the likes of Erling Haaland at the age of 22 has won what in the space of a year at Manchester City has won more than Kane has in his whole career. That's the difference here now. What we're talking about here is when we talk about Harry Kane, I didn't think we were going to be talking about Harry Kane today, but when we're talking about Harry Kane here, is that's why the talks happen on Sky Sports, BT Sport. Why everyone talks about it is because Harry Kane hasn't won anything at the moment, and he's coming to the latter ends of his career.
Yeah.
That's why that gets talked about all the time.
But it all goes back to why hasn't Harry Kane won anything?
Of course,
because the team is not the squad, and the team is not good enough.
Of course.
Again,
No, I don't believe that. That's not true, right? I'll tell you why. Because he has had the opportunity to win those trophies with the team, with the team.
Sava says this a lot. He had a brilliant first 11, but a terrible squad, which meant if Kane dropped out the team, we'd have no one to score goals, which means
when we was in that cup and we lost on penalties, that's the whole team, including Kane, that didn't get us over the line. All but for what I'm trying to say.
Out of all the finals, he was never.
Can I just finish my point, please, Ben? Please allow me to finish my point. So all I'm trying to say to you is all but for those very, very fine lines, Kane could have had a trophy. So it's actually a bit of bad luck in the fact that he has been unfit in some of those, but it's also been all but for a penalty kick that we actually could have won one. And that's the fine margins of football. Unfortunately, that is the fine margins of football. To say that he hasn't had that opportunity is not the truth, because he has had that opportunity.
He's never been fit for a final. Not one of those finals that we've been in has he been 100% fit, which is either two problems. One, the squad is not good enough, which means he has to play every game, which means he always gets injured usually around December, January, which always happened. He always did his ankles, which meant when we did get to a final, he was never fit. So we should have signed a striker to play a lot of those games, which we never did. Harry Kane was our sole striker for 3 years. We've only recently got a second striker, which is Richarlison, which he's not good enough either, so he has to continue playing. Or two, he's got it in his contract that if Tottenham are in a final, he plays, which if that is true, that is unacceptable. He should never have played any of those finals because he was never fit for any of them, but he played all of them.
And if he asked to have that put in his, but if he's asked to put that in his contract, isn't that on Kane to ask to put that in his contract?
Because Levy should never have agreed to it.
So it's both. So it's both of them then. So then you can't fully just say that it's not off Kane's shoulders, is what I'm trying to say to you. That you can't.
We never had a squad to compete for a final. We never had the squad. We had a great.
But we got to penalties in a final with Man United. We got to penalties, so we could have won it all but
he scored the penalty, didn't he? He scored the penalty.
That was horrible.
But what I'm trying to say to you is all but. But what I'm trying to say to you, so all but for someone else's, like for a penalty, we could have won that. So we did get to that point where we could have won it. But those very, very fine margins, Ben, that's the problem, isn't it? In football, there is very fine margins. Well, we got good enough to get to the penalties, so we did be good enough to get into that final and to get to that point. To not lose it
I get
until
what Mia's saying.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like it is quite fine line sometimes.
It's unfortunate. Do you know
it
what?
Is unfortunate.
Well, you've got to build a team as good as Kane, and we've never done that. We've never got to his level in terms of the players that we've brought in. The only players that I can put on the level with Kane that I've seen, not in his position, but in the team itself, is Dembele and Eriksen. The other players fall well short.
Hold on. When we had a team, we had a good team, but I like what Ben says. I do agree. It was the squad. It was the first 11. I get
a lot
it.
More.
The moment Dembele got injured, you replace him with Harry Winks. The moment Vertonghen got injured, you had Eric Dyer or Davinson Sanchez. The moment Kyle Walker got injured, actually no, Kyle Walker, he had Kieran Trippier. That's fine. Whenever Danny Rose got injured, you had Ben Davis. You're not just dropping down a tiny bit. You're dropping down miles. You're dropping down miles.
Yeah.
Which, whenever City lose, I know City's a bad example because they've got tons of players in every position. The moment Grealish got injured, they had a player that could replace him. The moment Kevin De Bruyne gets injured, they have Phil Foden. Like, teams have better squads than us.
And they've got
With
Mahrez
our
as well.
squad, it's never been. Harry Kane gets injured, we had no one. Like literally no one. Which means Sonny, who is at best in a left wing position, had to play in a position he's worse at and do a job he's not necessarily good at because he doesn't hold a line because he's not imposing in the air. And then we had to replace him with players like Eric Lamela. I like Eric Lamela, but he's not Son Heung-min. We've never had a good squad. We've not had a good squad since the 80s. That's how long it's been since we had a squad. It's a squad game. It's been a squad game since
Of course.
We've never had a squad.
Of course, and I just want to sort of finish over because I didn't really think we were going to be talking about Harry Kane in this chat. I genuinely thought that was not going to be. I just wanted to say, just with that the conversation when people sort of say about like all this about Harry Kane, I love Harry Kane. I think he's incredible. I think he's one of the best players I've ever seen. I just don't want him to regret it. That was all where I was trying to get at, and that was this. I blame Phil P, by the way, the leader of the Phil Army. You were the one that started it. The leader of the Phil Army. I've got some questions. We're going to go for another 14 minutes because I am going to try and hit it on the nose on an hour because I've got work to do. What are your opinions on signing Kulu? Bit meh. I'll be honest. I'll say it straight. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm happy
we signed him, but he's not.
I'm happy we signed him. I'm not sitting there jumping around doing cartwheels because we signed a player that we had on loan last season that had a fee that we could pay for. So for me, I'm just like, okay, great. But for me, that was like 2 years ago when we signed him, or a year and 18 months ago when we signed him. For me, that's when I got excited about him. Anyone else? Anyone else get really excited that we signed Kulusevski on a permanent deal?
No, I was just like, it is what it is. Like, I'm happy that he stayed, but yeah.
I like Kulusevski. I like the lad.
Yeah, I like Kulu.
But he's not an important signing.
Was that Ellie? Sorry?
If we see the Kulu that, hit the ground running after about 3 games in, lovely, but we saw the other side of Kulu after injury and he didn't hit the ground running. So we want the player that we saw first of all. Creating all those assists. He was fantastic. Everybody must hold their hands up and say they got excited by this player, and then it just fell flat this season, didn't it?
But this is where I have this conversation about Kulusevski, and this is where I feel people go really overboard. The sample size of Kulusevski, 2/3 of it have been crap. Does that make sense?
I would say half and half.
Really? I think it's been crap all season.
But he was injured a lot of it, wasn't he? So
he was injured for periods, but even before his injury, I didn't think he was that amazing. He scored in the opening game, to be fair, but apart from that, I didn't see much of him that I'd gone.
I think injuries have really affected him. Injuries have really affected him.
The injury made it even worse. It made it more paramount. But I think it didn't help with the system.
He's not a top of in there are bigger problems than Kulusevski in the team because we do score goals. We do score goals, and he is part of the reason we score quite a lot of goals. The reason that Tottenham are poor is we cannot defend. That is the reason we are crap, because we cannot defend.
Very, very
Which
true.
is another reason why we should be signing David Raya, because both our Forster is at the end of his career. He's 33, 34. He's at the end of his career at a goalkeeper at a top level. Get a younger, hungrier kid, because he's not exactly young. Get him in now, and that is an improvement. That is something I'm excited about. Actual improvement.
Agreed.
Going from Lloris to Raya is a massive improvement. That's
Agreed.
a massive improvement.
I just want to be excited, and it feels like this transfer window has started all over again, where I'm just not excited. Yeah. I'm bored of it. I'm already bored of the transfer window. It's only been open a week or so. I just want to say before we got a few more questions. So obviously, please guys, go and subscribe to these lovely people. Please subscribe to me. Who are the 2 people that absolutely unfollowed me? What are you doing? Come on. We're on the road to 1,000.
Come on. We won't
anymore. We love him.
You get everyone boo those 2 people in the chat.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. We know who you are.
We know exactly. I've got eyes. If we get 7 more subs and I can get to 880 today, that would be amazing. So 7 of you in the chat that haven't subscribed, please can you do so? Genuinely means the world. I mean it. It genuinely does, because once we get to the quicker we get to 1,000, the fun begins. That's all I'm saying. We all know what's going to happen. We'll be getting a lot more excitement, and we're up to 68 likes. So please, can we get that over to 100 before we get there? There's 142 of you in here, of you amazing people. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't, and also go over and subscribe to these people. The sheriff will post it in the link in there. He probably doesn't want to, but he's going to have to. You're in charge. Go on, coughs on double duty.
Double duty.
Please do so. It genuinely means well. And yeah, go subscribe to these amazing people, because listen, it's people don't realize when you're doing content creation and stuff like this, it isn't easy. Like people think you just turn on a camera. I always say this, and you speak to a microphone. You've got to get stuff set up, thumbnails and all that lot, and it takes a lot of time. And all of us have got day jobs as well that we have to deal with as well. So massive love. Big up Strasbourg, Steve. This man is the encyclopedia of football. We love you. Hope you're doing well, Steve, mate. Much love to you. And hope you're well.
And he's also got like a library of shirts as well. I swear you could open a shirt library.
No, that is a shop. I'm calling it. We need to call him. He needs to be like in collaboration with Ben's coffee company. He just needs to be like the shirty company or something. Some sort of someone in the chat will design that for him.
Shirty.
Honestly, he's got 1,000,001 shirts. I mean, he's got shirts from divisions.
I've got it. Shirty Steve. Shirty Steve.
That's shambles. It's good though. I'll have it. You'll have that. We've got a few more questions though. So big up to you guys, all you guys in the chat. As I said, there's 135 of you in there. Much love to you all on this lunchtime edition of Spurs, the calling show. Big up Jessica. What about Livakovic? Thank you. He has a release clause of about 10 mil, can play as a sweeperkeeper in his 28 thoughts. Again, I've seen a bit of him play. I saw him. He was the goalkeeper. Oh, was he the goalkeeper that knocked us out of the Europa League? Remember when under Jose Mourinho? I believe, I could be wrong, but I think it was him. And he had a really good game. When they beat us,
keeper, but he's no David Raya. He's a decent keeper.
That's the thing. I've got no problems. For me, it's all about what the club want. If the manager wants more so. If the manager identifies him as he's the man, go for it. Why not? Good option. So I think I'd have him in. Why not? Better than what we've got is the best way I can put it. Yeah. And big up Wayne Holland, massive friend of the channel. I hope you're well, mate. Lots of love to you. I hope you're doing well, mate. What makes Spurs fans think you'll do more this summer than you have in the last 10 years? And that's a good question. So I think, do you know what? I think we do a lot in windows. We just don't do enough properly. Do people agree with me? I think we sign fine of late anyway, but we don't sign stuff properly.
We don't find them in the right positions, really, do we? We just identify our defence. We've been weak in the defence for years and years and years, right? Since Jan and Toby left, especially.
Yeah.
And even before that, we need to strengthen our defence. It's obvious, but they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we get players, but we get the wrong kind of players. We don't scout correctly. That's the big issues, really.
We only have 6 scouts. We only have 6 scouts.
I mean,
this is the thing, though. Like for me, it's sort of. I've got no problems with the likes of the likes of these signings, but for me, it's all about square peg round hole, and it feels like that. It's like that for Tottenham all the time. We don't ever go, do you know what? This is the signing that we need. This is the signing we need. We're going to go and sign him. And David Raya is that signing. He's the one that I go, he fits the mould perfectly. I've got a mate who's a Brentford fan. He told me, if you get David Raya, you've got a top goalkeeper. He said he's brilliant with his feet.
Top keeper fits in the system we want to play.
Exactly.
That would be amazing. That would be square peg, square hole. It'd be brilliant.
I just wish Gavin Basunu was a little bit older, because he would be perfect. But he's not got enough experience yet. And all the Irish contingent that I work with love him because they watch him for Ireland. But he's just he's 20 years old. You can't put your
But I think this
faith
is
in that.
that's exactly it. It's just the frustration for me that we don't do things right, and that really bothers me. We don't do things correctly. A proper football club would have signed David Raya by now. A proper football club signs him now. We're not. We're haggling what, 15 million quid? Really? I think we've. Why couldn't we've had this same energy with the likes of Ndombele and Lo Celso, where we spent over the odds for those players and wasted money?
I
But
think
this is a waste here.
Yeah, and I think with them two, wasn't it that Poch wanted them? So I think that they were targets that Poch wanted.
They were, but we spent loads of
I
money.
know, we did spend. But then if we didn't spend that money on them, Perch, then everyone would say Poch didn't get the players. But because they didn't work out, then it wasn't that he was backed, if that makes sense. They
Listen,
like
I think
it's very difficult.
The only caveat Pochettino gets, and this is the only caveat, the signs he then got were too late. They needed to be over here. He got them there, and it was basically when a lot of the players, the likes of Ericsson, were coming out basically saying that he wants a new challenge. And for me, at that time, that were times when we should have offloaded these players, and we then went and signed the likes of Ndombele, Lo Celso, too late. We needed to sign players then, that period when we were second in the league, not the one after Leicester, the year after. The year after, for me, was the moment when we went, look at that. That Chelsea team, that all singing and dancing Chelsea team that won 30 games out of 38, and we finished second to them by about 8 or 9 points. That was the moment to go, do you know what? World class player. Now let's go and push on.
Yeah.
What we did is we didn't sign anyone, and all the players stagnated. That was the problem.
No, I agree.
And that for me was the killer part, because we signed the likes of Lo Celso and Ndombele too late. Those players, I don't think they're very good at the football club and all, but they were signed way too late. And this is the problem. We're missing the boat out that we need to start again. And if we can't even go and get a £40 million goalkeeper over the line. Tottenham Hotspur. I think we missed that. We're not Bournemouth. How can the likes of Nottingham Forest sign on loan Keylor Navas, and we can't even get David Raya? I know it's slightly different. One's in the peak, one's at the end of his career. It's slightly different. The goalposts aren't aligned exactly. But how can they get the likes of a Keylor Navas over the line at a click of a finger, and we can't even get David Raya done when we've got personal terms agreed? We've been told what the fee is for the last 2 to 3 weeks, and we still can't get it done. For me, it's unacceptable. It frustrates me, because I sit there and go, in 10 days' time, if we've not got a goalkeeper signed, we probably will end up with someone at Ilan Meslier. Not amazingly great, but
Don't get me wrong, like I do understand everyone's frustrations. Like I'm not trying to sit here and say I don't understand or I don't feel it myself, because actually a couple of days ago on my video I said we need to get it done. I'm getting annoyed with this now.
Yep.
So I do completely understand it. I do completely understand.
Yeah. Big up Cody, man. I hope you're doing well back home. And want to know what you have for breakfast? I didn't have anything. I'm doing a fasting diet at the moment, so I haven't had anything.
Same
I have
here,
one meal. I only have 1 meal a day, and then I only have 1 meal a day in the evening, and the rest of it just drink water throughout the whole day. That's
surely that
my one.
And
It's
you know
only
what?
between 7 and
water. Coffee Company coffee, very cheap.
See, that was the biggest plug ever. Biggest plug ever. And Mark, exactly. Whose fault was that? Of course, I agree, but I'm just trying to talk about it broadly, of course. We're gonna wrap up in a minute, because I've got stuff to do. I've got lots of stuff to do. Guys in the chat, go. Obviously, I've said it already, but go and subscribe to these amazing people. We're going to be putting loads of stuff out in the next few days. We'll be back here at the exact same time tomorrow, doing exactly this and talking for an hour and going on. We've got 78 likes. Can 22 of you? There's 139 of you. There must be 22 of you that haven't liked it. It doesn't make sense. 22 of you haven't liked it. Surely. There's 139. Let's get it over 100. Come on, please, before we go. About 30 seconds we're going to go for.
Come on, give your heads a wobble and just hit that like. It's free. Come
Stop
on,
calling you
people.
Daniel Levy if you don't like it. You're Daniel Leves if you don't like it. Exactly. They're all going to start flooding up now. Of course, that's how it works. Thanks guys for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I had a good one. We've had me a bit ranting and raving, going on and on and on about Tottenham Hotspur and the pain that this football club puts me through. But listen, as I said, there's no expectation next year, so I don't care. That's my excuse. I'm not sitting there worried anymore. I'm just frustrated because I see the same and same and same again. For me, that's what really bothers me. Come on, 15 more likes. We're nearly there. We're going to wrap up in a second as well. Keep going, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, go and subscribe to these lot. And guys, thank you so much for coming on. I'll probably see you guys tomorrow if you want to come on. Always welcome.
Join us at the coffee company in under an hour.
Yes,
I'll be there.
So, Ben, have you got the link for everyone? Have you already set your StreamYard up for it?
I have set it up. We can post that.
Make sure you go.
Everyone go over there. I want to see everyone go over there, and I want to see at least 30 to 40 likes on Ben's video on the queue before it goes in. So put the link in. I'll pin it in there, and I'll give a few minutes for people to there you go. I'll pin it. So
it really helps us out.
Everyone go over there now. Let me pin it. Everyone go over there now and go and like the stream and go over there in an hour. It's such a chilled out stream. Who have you got on, mate?
We are on 312 subs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go subscribe. I mean, who have you got on tonight or today?
No idea. You never know who's going to turn up at the coffee company.
That's the best view. That's the beauty of it. Brilliant. Yeah. So everyone go over there. Go and like it. Big up to Mr. Daigle. I know you're over at We Are Tottenham TV, mate. So I just want to say massive big up to you, mate. Thank you, everyone, for being in here. Much love. And we've got 10 more likes. So 10 of you go and like it. We're going to leave it at that. Thanks for coming on. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye.